What happens when a simple morning show interview turns into one of the most uncomfortable moments daytime television has seen in years? What happens when a Grammy-winning icon shows up expecting a warm conversation about self-care, only to be blindsided by a host who thinks being real means being reckless? Today we're diving into the morning. Kelly Rowland walked onto the set of Today with Jenna and friends and walked off on live television, leaving the studio in chaos and the internet in flames. And trust me, the story is even wilder than the clips circulating online. The day began like any other taping inside Studio 1A at Rockefeller Center. Producers buzzing around with earpieces, makeup artists clutching powder brushes, interns carrying stacks of notes like they were national secrets. Kelly arrived early, as she always does. She glided into the building in a cream blazer tailored to perfection, matching wide-leg pants, and that unmistakable presence that only decades in the spotlight can give you. She had a calm smile, holding a cup of herbal tea while her publicist reviewed the talking points one last time. The plan was simple: talk about her new wellness initiative, share some laughs with Jenna, inspire viewers at home, and leave. She certainly wasn't expecting battle. Jenna was already on set during the commercial break, chatting with her co-host of the day, Monica, a newly added lifestyle commentator, known for stirring the pot just enough to trend online. Monica was the type of panelist networks hire when they want a little edge. She had strong opinions, quick confidence, and a habit of crossing the line, just far enough that executives couldn't decide if she was risky or brilliant. But this was morning TV, soft lighting, family-friendly jokes, energy that felt like a warm blanket. Nothing about this show should have hinted at conflict. As the cameras returned from commercial, Kelly walked into warm applause, exchanged hugs with Jenna and Monica, and settled gracefully into the cream armchair across from them. Jenna kicked things off with boundless enthusiasm, complimenting Kelly's outfit, her glow, her presence. Kelly thanked her with that radiant smile, crossing her legs and relaxing into the seat. Everything felt easy. The kind of comfortable energy that makes viewers think they're watching friends chat in a living room. Jenna asked about the wellness project, what it meant to Kelly, why she started it, what she hoped women would take away from it. Kelly lit up instantly. This wasn't a PR obligation for her. It was something she had poured her heart into for 2 years. She spoke openly about mental health, burnout, the pressure to stay strong even when you're exhausted. She talked about women, especially women of color, being expected to carry everything without complaint. The audience was with her. Jenna was with her. Even Monica seemed to be listening. For 7 minutes, everything was perfect. And then Monica leaned forward. She had that smile people get when they're about to ask. Something messy, too confident, too rehearsed. Like she knew she was about to spark a moment that would trend online. With a soft laugh, she shot off a question that made the entire studio freeze. Kelly, don't you think it's a little ironic that you're promoting wellness when your career has been defined by living in someone else's shadow? Doesn't that affect your mental health? Kelly's smile vanished instantly. The air shifted. Jenna's head snapped toward Monica with a look that said, "What are you doing?" The audience stiffened, some gasping, others whispering. Even crew members off camera looked stunned. But Kelly didn't break. She took a breath, slow and controlled, and responded with the grace of someone who had been media-trained by fire. She said her career had been defined by hard work, sisterhood, opportunity, and legacy, not by shadows. She said being part of something bigger doesn't diminish you, it elevates you. She reminded everyone that the narrative of competition had been created by outsiders, not by the women themselves. Her voice was steady, her tone firm but not angry. It was the kind of response that deserved applause. If the moment had ended there, everything would have been fine. But Monica wasn't done. Instead of backing off, she doubled down, leaning into the worst possible interpretation of Kelly's kindness. With a condescending laugh, she asked if Kelly's wellness push was really just her trying to heal the insecurity of being compared to others her whole life. She framed it like she was being honest, like she was doing Kelly a favor. The audacity was breathtaking. Jenna immediately tried to intervene. You could hear the tension in her voice as she said Monica's name like a warning. But Monica kept going, insisting she was just asking what everyone wanted to know. claiming Kelly should appreciate someone willing to be real. Kelly's jaw tightened. She uncrossed her legs and sat up taller, her warmth gone, replaced by a cold, calm precision. She said she had come to talk about a meaningful project, not to be disrespected. She said if Monica had done her research, she would understand the difference between journalism and provocation. The studio was electric. Producers were panicking behind the scenes, signaling to wrap up the segment or cut to commercial. Jenna looked mortified. The audience didn't know where to look. And then Monica said it. If you can't handle honest questions, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. That was the breaking point. The moment Kelly Rowland decided she was done. She reached down, unclipped her microphone pack, and the scratch of the mic echoed across the studio as she freed it from her waistband. Jenna gasped. Monica's face drained of color. Kelly stood slowly, holding the mic pack in her hand like a final period at the end of a sentence, and in a voice soft enough to force everyone to lean in yet strong enough to fill the room. She said, "I've spent my entire career answering honest questions from people who respect me and respect journalism. What you're doing is disrespect disguised as candor, and I don't have to stay for it." She placed the mic on the chair, looked at Jenna apologetically, and walked off. The audience was silent, stunned. A few people started clapping, unsure if they should. Her publicist rushed after her. Producers frantically cut to commercial. When the show returned, Jenna was alone, visibly shaken. Monica had been pulled off set. Jenna stumbled through an apology wrapped in vague language about unexpected circumstances. But viewers had seen everything. The internet erupted. Backstage, pandemonium. Kelly retreated to her green room, sitting on the couch with her blazer off, shaking her head slowly as her team scrambled. Her manager was furious, pacing the room and talking about breach of agreement. Her publicist was fielding calls from other networks, suddenly begging to book Kelly. 10 minutes later, a coordinator knocked softly. She asked if Kelly would consider returning, just to close the segment politely. Kelly didn't even look up. Her publicist answered for her, saying they would not be returning to that set under any circumstances. Meanwhile, Jenna was confronting producers. Staff members said they had never seen her that angry. She demanded to know why Monica had been allowed to ambush a guest. She argued that disrespectful television wasn't edgy, it was destructive. And she made it clear that if the show wanted to keep its reputation and its guests, boundaries needed to be enforced. That got the executive's attention. Back in the hallway, Kelly's team tried to leave quietly through a side exit. As they rounded a corner, they crossed paths with Monica. Crew members later said Monica actually looked like she might apologize. She opened her mouth, but Kelly raised a hand and said, "Don't. I have nothing to say to you." And she walked right past her. Kelly left through a back entrance, got into the waiting SUV, and sat quietly staring out the window while her team drafted a statement. She didn't want it emotional. She didn't want it petty. She wanted it professional, centered on respect. Hours later, the network released their statement. It was corporate, vague, and didn't mention Monica at all. Social media tore it apart for ignoring the real issue. Disrespect packaged as journalism. Jenna posted her own message, more honest, more compassionate, expressing admiration for Kelly and regret for how the interview had gone. It helped protect her reputation, and viewers rallied behind her. When Kelly's official statement dropped 6 hours later, people praised her even more. She explained she had agreed to the interview in good faith. She drew the line between candid and cruel. She made it clear she stood by her decision to walk away, and she spoke gently but powerfully about the way women, especially women of color, are too often expected to endure disrespect with a smile. Other celebrities began sharing their own stories of uncomfortable interviews and the pressure to tolerate mistreatment. Suddenly, Kelly's walk-off wasn't just a viral moment. It became a conversation about boundaries, respect, and the shifting power dynamics in modern media. Within 2 days, 3 celebrities quietly pulled out of upcoming appearances. The message was clear. If this was how the show treated its guests, people weren't coming. And Monica, she stayed silent for 24 hours until the network finally pulled her from upcoming episodes while they evaluated the situation. Behind the scenes, agents were calling the network demanding explanations. Publicists were warning their clients to avoid the show for now. Executives realized this wasn't just a bad episode. It was a crisis that could damage relationships for years. Kelly didn't have to do anything more. She didn't have to go on a press tour. She didn't have to clap back online. She simply walked away from a situation that didn't deserve her, and the world noticed. And that is how a simple morning interview became one of the most talked about moments on television. It wasn't the drama that made it powerful. It was the boundary, the calm refusal, the quiet strength of a woman who knew her worth and acted on it. And that is why the world took her side.